This is Tim Sheehy. Welcome to Tim Said Podcast. September 11th. It's one of those days that everyone remembers where they were when it happened. People from the 60s say, hey, this is where I was when Kennedy was shot. People in the greatest generation, this is where I was when Pearl Harbor happened. This is where I was when Reagan was shot, et cetera, et cetera. For my generation, I'm 37. Where were you on 9/11? Where were you when it happened? What were you doing? Who were you with? For me, I was in 10th grade, and I was in world history class upstairs, and the hallways started to be abuzz. Something's going on. Something's happening. And I was in Minnesota. That's where I grew up, Central Time. So I ran downstairs because the floor below us, the classroom, had a television in it. So ran down there, and I think it was an English class down there or something like that. And we all went in and piled into this classroom with the TV. And, of course, wow, look at that. I mean, towers are smoking and what could be going on. I was already a pilot at that time. My neighbor was a Navy pilot growing up, so he taught me how to fly. So I got my pilot's license before I got my driver's license, loved aviation, was passionate about it. And so obviously airplane crash in high school, and typical, 15, 16, 17-year-old wisdom, we're all trying to sit there and figure out what's happening as if we know what the hell we're talking about. But, as the only guy that had any sort of aviation experience in the room, everyone's looking at me, hey, what's going on, Tim? What's happening? I said, well, I don't know. It must be an accident. I mean, obviously a plane crashed into the World Trade Center there. I mean, it's terrible. But obviously, it's going to be a tremendously challenging rescue operation. But man, I mean, obviously it's an accident. And as we stood there talking about it, watching the television, we saw the second plane hit. And you could tell in the room, I mean, even dumb high schoolers could figure out pretty quick. You saw the speed of the plane. You saw it was aiming right for that tower. We all knew right away that something else was going on. It didn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. And there was just that feeling of change. Again, that kind of line in the sand of life where it's before and after. A lot of in your life is decided, hey, before that, after that. I think that was one of those lines for my generation, for a lot of Americans. Because for me in particular, and for a small percentage of Americans, that meant whatever trajectory your life was going to be on was going to be different. Because I joined the military soon thereafter and spent my adult years fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan. My wife in the military, she also served in Afghanistan. All my best friends met there. We started our company together and are still close. So it really changed the course of my life. I was wounded. Some friends didn't come home. And I think that day means something different for a lot of people. For a lot of Americans, it's another day on the calendar, a day to wave a flag, a day to, whatever it is they do. Obviously, for people who lived in New York or experienced loss on 9/11, has a very different meaning. For folks like me who volunteered to serve, and for many of us because of 9/11, obviously it represented an entirely new trajectory for our life. So I don't feel the need to make it a national holiday. I don't feel the need to enshrine it all the time, because I think the most important thing is moving forward and making sure the future is better, not focusing on the past. So we always have to remember it. We always have to recognize what it meant for us and for our country, but we can't let that trap us in the past, and we can't let that stunt our future either. So it's important to remember. It's important to try to bring back the emotions of that day. Watching what happened on the streets of New York, and Pennsylvania, and Washington, D.C., and then, of course, what happened for the 20 years after that, where we as a nation tried to grapple with what it meant to be attacked again, and it hadn't happened in a long time. And, for me, it means service above self. It really means that when our country was attacked, I spent, the next decade and a half surrounded by people who truly felt that they had to answer the call to serve after 9/11. And that was a very impactful and formative experience for all of us then, because, you're young adults, you're kids. You join when you're 17, you're 18, 19, and you spend the next, however long you're in, surrounded by people with a similar mindset. So it's important we not forget what happened on that day. It's important we not forget what it meant for our country. And it's important that we also move forward, though. We don't let that trap us and hold us back. So where were you on 9/11, and what does it mean to you?